Welcome back to the Lux Lifestyle channel, where we give future millionaires and billionaires inspiration to go after their dreams so they can live life on their terms. In today's video, we're going to be revealing the 5 wealthiest women in the United States. Before we get started, please do us a big favor. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you never miss out on super inspiring videos like this one to keep all of you up and coming millionaires and billionaires inspired. Okay, let's get on with it. We frequently discuss the world's wealthiest people and the wealthiest men in the United States of America. What we're surprisingly not discussing is a group of individuals who collectively control over $200 billion. We're referring to Americans' wealthiest women. So who are these ultra wealthy women? Where did they obtain their billions of dollars? And why have you likely heard of only one or two of them? Thus, in keeping unison with female entrepreneurs and the top business ladies in the United States, we're going to take a look at the top 5 wealthiest women this country has to offer. Number 5, Miriam Adelson, $31 billion. We have the wealthiest Israeli and the 44th wealthiest person on the planet. If you've ever spent a gin-soaked weekend in Vegas playing the slots, hitting the tables, and making irreversible errors, you've probably helped Miriam become a little bit richer thanks to her massive holding in Las Vegas Sands. Miriam Adelson was born in Tel Aviv in 1945 to Polish parents. She has accomplished a great deal in her long life. She earned a Bachelor of Science in Microbiology and Genetics from Tel Aviv University, as well as a medical degree. She served as a medical officer during her mandatory army service. She worked as a physician for a time before founding a substance abuse treatment center and research clinic in 1993. In the end, it turns out that being a doctor was not the lucrative endeavor that elevated her to the position of the 5th richest woman in the United States. Miriam Adelson married fellow physician Ariel Oakshorn and had 2 children with him. Later in the 1980s, she divorced him and eventually met and married late billionaire Sheldon Adelson. Sheldon Adelson was the former chief executive officer and chairman of Las Vegas Sands, a $28.7 billion casino and resort company in the United States. Sheldon acquired the company in 1988 and transformed it into the multinational behemoth it is today, with branches spanning the globe from the United States to China. Sheldon Adelson owned a sizable stake in Las Vegas Sands and was worth $36.4 billion at the time of his death, making him one of the wealthiest people in the United States. After his death at the age of 87, he left his wife Miriam more than half of his $48 billion gambling empire. She now owns 56% of the Las Vegas Sands. Miriam has been an outspoken political figure in the United States for several years now, donating tens of millions of dollars to political candidates she supports. In 2016, she was even presented with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, presumably as a result of the liberty conferred upon you when you gambled your life savings away. Number 4, Jacqueline Mars, $33.3 billion. Following that, we'll discuss the patron saint of Valentine's Day, menstrual cramps, and broken hearts. The 39th wealthiest person on the planet, and the wealthiest person with a candy named after her. Remember the time it was your anniversary? You dropped the ball and forgot to get your sweetie something nice and quickly purchased some sweet chocolates to conceal the fact? You more than likely didn't realize it, but you added a few dollars or more to Jacqueline Mars' wealth. That's because Jacqueline and her brother John each own approximately 1/3 of Mars Incorporated. That's right, Mars as in candy bar, or should I say candy bars. This $40 billion candy company makes for some of the most popular chocolates that you habitually grab, purchase, and eat in line at the supermarket, such as M&M's, Snickers, Twix, Skittles, and of course, Mars. Additionally, they manufacture pet food and provide animal care services, presumably for the numerous dogs that eat their chocolates, if they have very loving and generous owners. This lady and gentleman is referred to as having your hands in everything and making a crap load of money. So who is Jacqueline Mars? To be sure, she is an American investor. Mars Corporation was founded by her grandfather, and the heiress of the world's largest candy manufacturer has full reins of this sweet tooth-making giant, satisfying candy bar cravings everywhere in the world. She was born in Washington, D.C. to a wealthy Mars family and received a prestigious education at one of New England's first girls' boarding schools, Miss Hall School of Pittsfield. She then attended Bryn Mawr College, where she earned a bachelor's degree in anthropology. She eventually became a part of the Mars Company, which was founded in 1911 by her grandfather, Frank C. Mars. Jacqueline worked for the company for nearly 2 decades as the president of the food group until 2001, when she was appointed to the board. She served on the board until 2016. Mars has essentially taken over every aisle of edibles in the supermarket under her supervision with its diverse selection of popular products. Mars invented Combo crackers, Del Mio pasta sauce, Orbit gum, Uncle Ben's rice, and a variety of other products that humans probably shouldn't eat, such as pedigree pet food. Not to mention that Mars Inc. also trains Olympic horses. We think this may have been entirely Jacqueline's idea. She adores horses and occasionally appears at equestrian events. She also donates money to the Jacqueline B. Mars Competition and Training Grant, which aids in training of horse riders. Jacqueline is twice married. Her first marriage produced 3 children, Alexander Badger, Stephen Badger, and Krista Badger. Personally, we're impressed on how she created so many products and still had time to raise 3 kids. Number 3. Julia Koch, $53 billion. Following that, we have the world's 24th richest billionaire, an heiress of one of America's wealthiest families, and the widow of the late David Koch. Julia was born in 1962 in San Francisco, California. She spent her earlier years farming and working for her parents' furniture store in Iowa. She relocated to New York in the 1980s and worked as an assistant to a fashion designer. Julia met David Koch on a blind date in 1991, and it was a disaster, as most blind dates tend to be. However, similar to the massage received following the string of failed dates, this story has a happy ending. The two reconnected at a party a year later and began dating, eventually marrying in 1996. Julia and David Koch spent years in an apartment on 5th Avenue before relocating to the legendary 740 Park Avenue in Manhattan. In 2004, a residence that has been and continues to be regarded as the city's most luxurious and significant residential structure. Don't take our word for it. The building has been the subject of books and even a documentary. It was home to wealthy Americans such as John D. Rockefeller, Egypt's richest man Nassef Sawari, and even the French government acquired a residence for its ambassador there. Julia and her 3 children, David Jr., Mary Julia, and John Mark, inherited approximately 42% of the Koch companies following David Koch's death in 2019. David Koch was the world's 7th richest man prior to his death, with a net worth of $53 billion. Julia was propelled into the top 10 richest women in the world as a result of this. Not a great way to make the list, don't you think? Tell us in the comments below. She is currently a member of the board of directors of Koch Industries, the 2nd largest company in the United States and the 6th largest in the world. Bringing in $115 billion in annual revenue, Koch Industries did not amass that wealth solely through oil drilling. Rather, they acquired a slew of companies and subsidiaries. They now essentially do everything through acquisitions such as the $22.5 billion acquisition of Georgia Pacific, one of the world's largest paper manufacturers and distributors. They make well-known products under the brand names Bronny and Vanity Fair, as well as acquired the Molex electrical component manufacturer for $7.5 billion. Julia is on a fast track to becoming one of the world's wealthiest people. Julia is not all business, despite the fact that she is currently the president of the David H. Koch Foundation, a charitable foundation that has contributed nearly $200 million to a variety of causes across the country, including science and medical research, education, and the arts. Number 2, Mackenzie Scott, $62.2 billion. We have the world's 28th richest billionaire, formerly Mackenzie Bezos. If you're wondering where you've seen that face before, Mackenzie may be best known for her marriage to the world's former richest man, Jeff Bezos, or more likely for her divorce from him, but she has led an interesting life. She was born in 1970 in California and was bitten by the writing bug at an early age. She asserts that she began writing seriously at the age of 6, the same age you were seriously writing on your face and others around you. Mackenzie is not only a prolific writer of raunchy fanfics on the internet, She is also a genuine novelist. She wrote her debut novel, The Testing of Luther Albright, in 2005, which won her an American Book Award, and followed it up with the second novel in 2013. Mackenzie was prepared for a career in literature in 2013 after earning a bachelor's degree in English from Princeton University, where she studied under Nobel laureate Toni Morrison. However, she acquired her billions in a slightly different manner. Mackenzie Scott married Jeff Bezos in 1993. They both moved to Seattle and co-founded Amazon. She was one of the company's first employees and was heavily involved in the company's early development. She was responsible for the company's name, business plan, accounts, and early order fulfillment. She was even instrumental in securing the company's first freight contract. Overall, she was an excellent employee, and that $35 billion paycheck arrived several decades too late. This brings us to their marriage, which lasted from 1993 to 2019. Jeff transferred 25% of his Amazon stake to Mackenzie as part of the divorce settlement, which equated to about 4% of the company. This left her with a fortune of $35.6 billion, making her the world's third wealthiest woman at the time. Mackenzie became a signatory to the Giving Pledge following her colossal divorce settlement, a campaign founded by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett to encourage extremely wealthy people to donate the majority of their wealth to philanthropic causes, as do the majority of billionaires on the pledge list. Despite her valiant efforts to donate at least half of her wealth to charity, she had increased her net worth to $62.2 billion by the end of 2021, having already given away a whopping $2.8 billion in charitable gifts in 2020 alone. Coming in at number 1, Alice Walton, $66.4 billion. Finally, we have the wealthiest woman in the United States of America. She is the 19th wealthiest billionaire in the world and is also a member of America's wealthiest family, the Walton family. Alice was born in 1949 in Newport, Arkansas, and was raised by her father, Sam Walton, along with her 3 brothers, Rob, John, and Jim. Walmart was founded in 1962 by her father and has grown to become the world's largest company by revenue, earning over $540 billion annually. As you might imagine, being the heiress of Walmart's founder can be quite lucrative. Indeed, the entire Walton family is worth a pretty penny, $169.7 billion worth. As it turns out, Walmart is about more than great deals and amusing memes. Its net worth exceeds the gross domestic product, or GDP, of a number of countries. Walmart operates approximately 10,500 stores in 27 countries, employs approximately 2.2 million people, and serves approximately 220 million customers weekly. A sizable portion of that retail empire is owned and controlled by Alice Walton. Throughout her life, Alice has resisted the temptation to follow in her brother's footsteps and work for Walmart. Rather than pursuing a career in finance, she has worked as an equity analyst, money manager, and broker at a number of reputable financial institutions. She founded an investment bank, serving as president, chairwoman, and chief executive officer. In the late 1990s, her company ceased operations and she relocated to a ranch in Texas, where she began raising horses. To reclaim her groove, despite being an avid horse lover, she sold the ranch in 2015 and relocated to Fort Worth, where she would spend her time curating art at the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, an art museum she had founded on the spur of the moment. It turns out that when you have a lot of money, you can truly pursue your dreams. Well, there you have it, Lux Lifestylists, the wealthiest women in America. Did you know about any of these women? Billionaires can be men and women. Who knew? We did. How about you? We hope this helped you to keep getting inspired to make your millions and billions. If you like this video, check out one of the others on screen, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.